3, 2, 1. Hey, it's Wild Josh from Geek-Cetera, and I'm joined by Chase, Kyle, and Ezra. And we're going to talk about whether the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to kill off Zendaya or MJ in Spider-Man 3. And we're going to talk about other things, Spider-Man 3. Now, let's get geeky. So this topic was really started by a redditor named meme_abstinent, and their theory or speculation or whatever you want to call it is Zendaya is going to get Gwen Stacyed in Spider-Man 3. And this is what they have to say. As we know, Zendaya does not play Mary Jane Watson. Her character is 100% original content from Feige and Company. And to the people who are skeptical that this is even on the table because it seems too dark, I would like to remind you that they killed Emma Stone in the Andrew Garfield one. She calls it Task 2, whatever that means.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man 2. Okay, that's what that means. Who is Michelle Jones? ? Why create a new love interest for Peter when we have a wide array of characters? Betty, MJ Watson, Gwen, Felicia, Silk, Kitty Pryde, etc. I refuse to believe they would deviate from the MJ character just to give this new character the exact same role as she would have had as the real MJ. In other words, there must be a purpose for her being a new character while being a purposeful misdirection. With Spider-Man 3 geared up to have Doctor Strange in a mentor role and his identity is revealed to the world, I think Peter is going to face a really deep loss. Someone close to him is going to have to bite the dust for him to understand the consequences of revealing his identity. Aunt May, possibly Ned, also a good chance. But I don't think anyone's death would be as crazy as Zendaya's character. Look at Emma as Gwen Stacy. We all knew what was going to happen. You can't do Gwen Stacy in a movie because she's known as the girlfriend who dies. But create a new character who fans will interpret as an MJ replacement, Peter's one true love and killer, that would shake the general audience.
So I think there's definitely truth behind this to a degree, because one of my main points is that I feel like Spider-Man's character in the comics and in most adaptations, like whether it be TV shows or the other two movie series, has faced a lot of tragic loss. And by the only one that we've really the only loss that he suffered that we've actually seen is the death of Tony Stark, which wasn't something that was ever in the comics.
He doesn't have parents.
So great
True.
point. But we didn't actually see Uncle Ben die in the new movie, and I understand why, because they wanted to kind of skip over the whole origin story thing, because they've done that 7 times. That's great, but it doesn't seem to be a driving factor at all. Like, he never talks about it. It doesn't seem to haunt him. It doesn't I don't think, has he ever said with great power comes great responsibility? None of that thing, those things ever come to mention. I think that's been alluded to, that Uncle Ben was around and then died, but it's not a driving it's not a plot point or anything. So the only thing that he's really suffered tragedy wise is the death of Iron Man. And from the comics, there's so many things that Spider-Man has suffered that built his character, like the whole drama with the Osborns, which was his best friend turned arch enemy, and the death of Gwen Stacy, the whole Black Cat thing with that kind of anti-hero, his relationship with her. And now we're seeing a little bit of Jonah Jameson, right, painting him in the eye of his viewers as a bad guy, right? But that's something we didn't really see in the first 2 movies at all. There's tons of things. The Connors family, right? I don't know, there's just a bunch of things that have happened to Spider-Man throughout the comics that kind of were tragic and helped build his character and his resolve to be like the good guy. And it's in none of those things we're seeing like on the screen with Spider-Man's character. So I think there's room for that kind of like improvement. But personally, like I don't want to see Zendaya's character killed off.
Yeah, I like Zendaya's character.
Here's the thing: of the two that have major ties to this Peter Parker, Ned and MJ, I would rather lose MJ because Ned is comedy gold.
Yeah, I like Ned too. I don't know if I could.
Hilarious.
I don't know if I could choose which one I'd rather see go, but like, I don't think I'd rather not see any of them go.
I'd rather see any of them go, but I'd rather keep Ned if one of them has to.
I would have rather them put like a Gwen Stacy, like as even though like I knew that she was gonna die, right? I'd rather them just do that whole thing because it adds to his character and doesn't really. I mean, yeah, I guess so. The point is they're trying to go for something like shocking. It's a good theory. What do you think, Kyle?
I guess it really depends on who the director is, because this does not seem to be a direction that the MCU generally goes in. It might not make sense in this world, like you guys were saying. There's pretty good chemistry between those actors that play Peter and his friends. So I don't know if you would want to harm that, but also, who has really died that was unexpected, right? We knew going into Endgame that certain characters were going to be gone, right? We even were trying to guess at those. So the only unexpected death that of a superhero that we weren't expecting, well, I guess that's what unexpected means, was Quicksilver. And that was a Joss Whedon directed film.
You expected Black Widow to die?
Yes. And it was I talked about it on the podcast.
There's proof. You expected Tony Stark to die too, though?
I vaguely remember the conversation about Tony and Cap because they were both nearing the end of their contracts.
It was the whatever it takes.
A long time ago. Yeah, or the whatever it takes. Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
So I don't know. I'm also going back on the first thing I said too, because they actually did. Now I'm thinking about it. Introduce another like tragic storyline that happened to him in the first movie, where he had that girl that he liked, and then sent her dad to jail, and then
he also very much died himself. That's a thing that I would consider traumatic.
That's true too, but yeah.
Oh yeah, who was the girl from the first one he liked? You don't see her anymore after
Liz.
Of course, Kyle knows this. It was in Hands Up.
Because he sent her dad to jail, and
that kind of broke him up, I guess.
Yeah, and she had to move away.
Can't really move on after that.
I think she had to move away because the prison was upstate, so she had to move to upstate. So I don't know. Story.
Yeah, I think there could be a loss, and what you were saying, Ezra, makes a lot of sense because he did see loss in the first movie. He lost Tony Stark. Really, this movie is probably about losing his trust in building new relationships with Beck. So it's highly possible someone could die. I mean, it could be MJ. I don't love that theory, but I'm buying that it could happen.
Yeah, I think it like what you're saying too. It does depend on who directs it as well, like what direction, because the whole like they might just take it in a direction like, okay, your identity is revealed, and that's a threat, and that's kind of what drives the suspense of the movie, or they could just kill her off and add shock value and kind of another plot point. You know what I mean? Like it could be handled two ways. Like it could just be like the suspense of like, oh, well, he knows my friends and like I've got to protect them now, you know, kind of thing.
I like this theory. I didn't understand initially when they introduced this character that was MJ, but not Mary Jane. Like I think we even talked about that on the podcast as to why that character even existed. But now I've kind of liked the character, and I think it's good storytelling to make a character who people have kind of drawn close to, axe him, take him out. So I think I like that.
And that's where I'm struggling, because I know that's good storytelling, but I just don't want that to happen because, again, I've drawn close to that character.
And if they killed her off, it would be in one of those no one's ever really dead kind of ways, like the MCU likes to do with multiverse magic.
You think so, though?
Yes.
I feel like if they killed her off, it would have to be for real, and it would have to be like, that's it. because otherwise the things that I'm saying about the whole like, you know, his tragic plot points, like that,
They
know,
could
it-
still be real to him.
it's not impactful. No, it's not. It's not impactful enough.
Could she become a character like?
That's why. Okay, so it is good storytelling. Josh is right to kill off a character. It's not generally good storytelling to bring them back. It's
I
lazy
agree with that.
storytelling.
Yeah.
You don't think they're gonna bring characters back though?
I think they will. I think it's dumb, but they will.
I don't think they would bring her character back.
I hope not.
The only way I could see it if they tried to play it off, and it would have to all be in the same movie. It couldn't be like all of a sudden in Spider-Man 4 she comes back. But if she faked her death, but she was really some other character in the universe, maybe even like a villain. Who was the girl that was in Spider-Man? She wore the black suit. She had like the white tufts. It wasn't Catwoman.
Catwoman.
It was Catwoman
Nope.
was in Batman.
Nope.
What was her
Black
name?
Cat,
Was
Black
it the
Cat.
Black
Yeah.
Cat?
Right?
Black Cat. Could she
I
be
literally
like someone
just
like
said
that?
that.
What is MJ? It's gotta reference something,
What's her name?
Well, I
forget what
mean,
it is.
everybody just thought MJ is Mary Jane, right?
right? But they quickly said she's not.
It's still a nod. She doesn't have to be. I mean, this
just
goes
like-
back to that Star Wars discussion. Like, who's Rey? She
Well, we
didn't
don't
have
know.
to be anyone.
Here's the difference with is Rey was a completely brand new character, whereas Spider-Man is not a brand new character at all. He's been around for a very long time, and his story has been
Yeah.
told a million times.
No, but Zendaya is like that's the whole
Zendaya
point.
is
Like,
a new
They're
character,
trying to add and bring in a new character, like
But
to make a
like-
story that you haven't heard before.
But here's the
Which,
is
in
the,
theory, is a good idea.
I guess Ned is a new character too, but for Peter Parker, not necessarily for.
But so
Miles
here's the thing:
Morales,
is
right?
if they wanted to make a brand new character, why give her a name that we've seen before? Why not give
So-
her a brand new
Yeah.
name like?
And why give her an ending
Tiffany,
that
I
we've
don't
seen
know.
before, right? Because
Like,
yeah.
if you literally so now you've taken a character that was a brand new character and you had infinite directions that you could go with the story, and you're just going to give her the same exact story as another character. Like that is counterproductive to what they were trying to do, and make a new character for new story reasons.
Okay, but we can't fault someone for something they haven't done yet.
No, it's true. You're right. But I'm saying if this theory was to come true, it seems counterintuitive to me at least, because you've made a new character so that you can tell a new story, but you're going to tell the exact same story that you've already told.
Okay, so what we've determined is she can't be Mary Jane. She can't be Black Cat because that would be the same thing. She can't die. So, is she going to be an?
But she
Eternal?
can't live either.
Uh-oh, I think Disney's really boxed himself into a corner.
No, I think it's fine either way. I'm just saying, like, I want.
Oh, she's a Skrull.
Oh.
Hey, I mean, we got the connection with
That's not bad.
with
No.
why can't I think of Nick Fury being
Yeah.
a Skrull in Far From Home?
Nick
Was that
Nick
the end of
Fury
the-
was a scroll. Was that the end?
He
The
was
end
a
credit scene?
So
Uh,
it is cool. You get J.K. Simmons sounds like you're going to get Tobey Maguire in the Multiverse of Madness. So that'll be fun.
So
Yeah.
I do want to actually just throw something out there. It's a little bit of garbage, but I saw a news article that said both Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are rumored for this movie. Which,
That would
if you
be
think about it, if they're bringing
cool.
Doctor Strange in, they could introduce some of the multiverse in
So
this movie with Doctor Strange.
this is a crazy movie because we get multiverse elements. We get like a new villain. We get we get a death of a character. We get the Daily Bugle like storyline thing. That's a lot of elements to one movie.
Ezra, that was a good segue. Let's talk about
The new villain.
The new villain that's going to be in Spider-Man 3, who is the old villain from
Spider-Man
The Amazing
2.
Spider-Man 2, which is Jamie Foxx as Electro. But according to Jamie Foxx, he's not going to be blue. So what did we think about Jamie Foxx as Electro first? I thought he did a pretty good job as a character. I don't think he was the problem with Spider-Man 2. Is what I was saying.
No,
Well, I think it was a villain problem, though.
Well, because there was too many. I thought the guy who played Hobgoblin wasn't great.
hey, but Spider-Man 3 did it okay, right? People like that movie, not just me.
No one likes Spider-Man 3.
Oh, really? That's so nostalgic, though. That's probably why I liked.
And Paul Giamatti, who I love as an actor, as and as Rhino, I was kind of like, oh, this could be interesting. The way they did it was just bad.
I
Did you
mean,
guys
yeah,
like-
but I still had a problem with Electro.
You did?
Yeah.
What
I-
was your problem? Because
I
I don't
didn't-
remember that movie.
I don't really like the way. I don't think it was a problem with his acting. I just don't like the way he was written. It was just kind of a little over the. It was almost like he would be better suited as a villain in those Batman movies from the 90s. Was it Joel Schumacher who did those films? Like just a little too campy for me.
What was his what? Okay, I'm gonna have to figure out what you mean by that. And it like his lines were written poorly, or the character motivation was written poorly, or
Yes, all of the above.
okay. Because that wasn't the reason he was a bit villain a really stupid reason too. I really
I don't
don't remember
recall.
that movie.
There was like what I can't even remember.
Did he fall into a vat of electricity?
There was
He
it?
was bit by electricity.
He was bit by a radioactive electricity.
I think he like fell into electric eel or something. It was an experiment at Oscorp.
Right.
I honestly have no
So
idea.
he was bit by radioelectric electricity.
But he was like he was a scientist with a little comb over and stuff. It was very much almost.
Oh, didn't he want to get back at Oscorp? Yeah, right. He helped the lizard guy try to beat up.
Lizard guy was in the first one.
I don't remember these movies.
Clearly, I'm glad that you have such hard opinions on this upcoming movie.
Well, I remember the
Well-
Tom Holland ones, and I actually liked them.
I personally don't have a problem with Jamie Foxx playing Electro.
I don't
again.
either. Especially if what Kyle's saying is true, and it was just that he was written poorly.
Now, if they said that Paul Giamatti was coming back as the Rhino, I might have a difference of opinion there.
I like Paul Giamatti. He's had some really good.
I like Paul Giamatti a lot. I just don't think he did a good. It was a good Rhino.
Oh
he
my
was
god,
like-
he was a
he wa-
transformer. That wasn't Rhino. That was also the direction in the writing.
Yeah, he was in a suit and he was like a thug. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I
the
feel like
moral
Rhino had
the
more
moral of
Rhino.
the story is you can do like, all right, so if you're gonna make a Spider-Man movie, you have to like at least make it exactly like a Spider-Man movie, or you have to do something completely different. You can't do something in the middle where some elements are the same and some elements are different, because then it's complete garbage, right? Because that's basically what the Amazing Spider-Man was. It's like, all right, well, the story is kind of like from the comics, but like all these villains are a little bit different and or very different.
Yeah,
And too
I
many
agree.
in one.
So,
Right.
and I feel like the Tom Holland is more like, we're going to go a completely different direction because we have to kind of fit it into the MCU. I think it works well, but it is a different story for sure.
Yeah, except what Josh was saying about too many. If they really go Sinister Six, then it's not going to matter. There's going to be a lot of villains.
They're going Sinister Six in episode 3.
I've heard some speculation that way.
Really?
And They,
So
they already
again, just too
for
many elements.
I feel like Sinister Six is its own
tackle
separate thing.
one thing at a time.
it sounds like the Vulture it might be back for it. So if they really did it, you have Electro, you have the Vulture, you have Scorpion, you have
Scorpion's in it.
yeah, they teased Scorpion in the first movie.
Yes, but that didn't mean he's going to be in the Spider-Man 3.
I'm talking Sinister Six.
Oh, okay.
He's
So
theorizing.
the villains that you've already seen in this Spider-Man universe, plus the one they just announced, you have
Scorpion, Electro, Vulture,
Shocker.
Shocker.
Shocker's dead. No, he's not. Yes,
They made another Shocker.
you're right. You're right. He just was like, here, you're Shocker now. That's
Yeah, exactly. And then with the technology they already have and the group already established, they could easily bring back a Mysterio. So that's 5. You just got to add one more.
So the original Sinister Six was Doc Ock, Electro, Kraven the Hunter, Mysterio, Vulture, and Sandman. So we got Sandman in Spider-Man 3?
Yep, it was 3.
3?
Yep.
So we did not get him in any of the new ones, the Disney ones, MCU ones.
Nope.
So the only character we have gotten out of those is Vulture and Mysterio.
What happened to
They can't
Mysterio?
bring Mysterio back.
I forget
He's
what
dead.
happened. Is he
Oh,
dead?
yeah.
You
got
could
shot.
easily bring Mysterio back. That's the whole point of Mysterio.
It was just a clone of him that they killed.
Based on that character and the group around him, they could bring Jake Gyllenhaal back and just use that technology to fake that he's still alive and use
Yeah,
someone else as
like
the
he's in a room somewhere with a VR headset and like controllers, and he's like, "Oh, I got killed," and he takes off the goggles, and he's just like,
Like Ready Player One.
Yeah, like that wasn't actually him. It was just like a robot of him, like that got shot full of bullets.
Doc Ock is a cool character. I'd love to see what the MCU could do with him. The guy who
I-
played him in the original Spider-Man was pretty good too.
Think
Alfred
he-
Molina.
Yeah,
I think he needs his own like
like the center bad guy. Like, yeah, he's a big bad.
he needs his own movie before they throw him into the Sinister Six. Maybe like they'll change up the lineup of the Sinister Six and do the Sinister Six. Yeah, can't say that. Sinister Six movie, like without him, like with the characters that we already have / are speculated / are teased.
They could always too, because they're doing a Morbius, right? But he was a character that could slide into the Sinister Six role.
I gonna be honest here. I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Morbius is? Was it Morbius?
He's
Was
the
that his
guy
name?
that has the pills, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's from the Matrix.
That's Morpheus.
I've
isn't
heard
it?
it both ways.
Morbius is
Sorry.
the vampire from Spider-Man.
Oh right, yeah. No, I don't like that character.
No, he's a terrible bad guy. I like Kraven the Hunter. He would be a cool bad guy. I heard the way they're trying to explain him in the story that they're making is not like a vampire. Like something happened to him in a lab, of course, and now he needs
Oh,
to
he was
drink
bit by a
blood.
vampire.
He was bit by a radioactive
vampire.
Electric.
An electric radioactive vampire.
So that's all
I mean,
I have. Anyone have anything
I
else?
think the
to
conversation that we need to have now is what is the name for this movie? Is it Spider-Man Work from Home, Spider-Man Home Alone, Spider-Man Home on the Range, like what?
have? Spider-Man Homesick.
Homesick, like
Spider-Man Home Run.
unfortunately, in all the other ways that we've talked about how Disney's backed themselves into a corner of they have to do this, and this, you've named your first two movies with home in it. How do you not keep up the streak?
Spider-Man.
I don't know what it's
3,
gonna
Home
be.
is Where the Heart Is.
Yeah,
Home. That'd be the worst one.
And that would actually be a pretty good title for a movie where MJ dies.
That's true.
Oh my god.
But there's so many
It
other
sounds like a
elements
sick
to this
flick.
movie that
like
aren't
a
being
romantic
addressed by the title.
yeah,
So there was the first one was Far From Home. No, Homecoming,
yeah. Homecoming.
and then
Far
Far,
From
from, Home. Coming Home.
It's a working title, Disney. We'll get back to you.
Spider-Man
Spider-Man Coming Home.
House Party for the Sinister Six.
Spider-Man Home Run.
Yeah,
Parker
Peter
uses
joins the
his-
baseball team.
Yeah,
No, Spider-Man Pick Six.
Spider-Man sliding into home.
I'm so glad I brought this up.
I know, really. but-
Yes, because this episode needed to be an extra 2 minutes longer.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Chase. I just think this is like a tall order for a movie. Like to
Spider-Man
recap,
Home Wrecker.
Home Wrecker.
I'm really excited to see the 3-hour Spider-Man movie. I actually would watch that.
Anyways, what do you think about Spider-Man 3? Are they gonna Gwen Stacy, Zendaya's character, Michelle Jones, or what do you think about Jamie Foxx coming back as Electro? Let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. With great power comes great responsibility.
Spider-Man.
Spider Pig.
It's pizza time.
Well,
Or maybe
has,
he
like,
just-
a green suit and a yellow mask.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But
He was
there
like,
was
"I'm
no blue.
Electro!"